So welcome to week 7. We are pretty much, for the most part, done with about 3/4 of the course. So you just have the final, which will be not due next week in class, but the Sunday after. So you've got a full 10 days to hand it in line. Just a reminder, next week we're also going to do the congressional walkthrough on Capitol Hill, weather permitting. So please keep looking at your WhatsApp next week. If we don't have it, we'll just meet at home. That might be better. Just stay at home if the weather is terrible that we can't go, and we'll do the terrain walk virtually. Don't forget for next week, bring a charged cell phone and a headphones as well, because we'll be watching YouTube videos as we're walking along Capitol Hill. So for this class, again, Boston Marathon, and it will be presented by our group 3. Who will be doing a congressional overview. And I would watch this intently, especially if you're still doing your paper, which is everyone else, for the final point, to ask what questions, how they answer the questions. So I would do that as part of the class, but also I would watch because many of you are going to participate in congressional forums as you progress in your careers, either preparing somebody or answering a congressional inquiry or testifying before Congress. So you're going to do that in this forum, and you're going to see how what kind of questions you get. And I wish that when these forums happen, it was really a Socratic way to get to the truth. But in this case, and I will replicate it, there will be showboating, and there will be bugging for the camera and trying to get out one-liners, which unfortunately is part of the terrain we're working on. So I'll look forward to that. Look forward to the presentation or the group 3 testifying there. So what we'll also talk about is leadership, or the two things, leadership targeting and the American jihadi threat. Leadership targeting, as outlined by the Byman and Cronin articles. Does it work? Is it a tactic? Is it far too... let's just say, is the cost-benefit analysis there? So we'll ask those questions. And as was mentioned, there's been a lot of talk about reducing this and trying to eliminate civilian casualties, or at least reduce civilian casualties as part of our drone program that we've executed the last 15 years or so. So we're going to ask, does it work? Yes or no? What are the advantages and disadvantages? What are the successes and failures, and under what condition is there success and failure? And we'll look at certain ones against Al-Qaeda and others, while we'll also look at others that were not successful, and we'll ask why. Why are certain successes and why aren't? And I'll also just ask, again, we bring this topic up about what is terrorism, what isn't. We only do drone programs against terrorists. Going back to our week 2 discussion, we don't do it against other criminal elements for the most part. So if we're going to do drone targeting and we're going to kill people essentially extrajudiciously, we have to have a definition of terrorism, and that covers a theme in this course. But we'll get into the leadership targeting in depth going forward, and we'll have a couple of case studies. The next topic will be the American jihadi threat. And this has spotted up since late 2009, accelerated under ISIS, and it's kind of declined since then. But there's some aspects that you can learn, or we can learn, especially the next time this happens. And we'll look at several case studies of people who joined ISIS, American citizens who joined ISIS, and you saw that in the HBO or the Showtime documentary. What is so attractive that people would join ISIS? What is so attractive that people like Nidal Hassan, Anwar al-Awlaki, and others who gave up essentially a middle-class lifestyle, what we would think as the American dream, they would give it up to join this international jihadist reasoning. And you can make that argument for other domestic extremists as well. So we'll go on in depth on that. What I will also do is I want to set aside some time to talk about careers in the government, careers in the intelligence community, my opinions, And I'll give you the downsides of a career in the intelligence community going forward, and that's my perspective, I should tell you. You're going to go through hearings and you're going to go through other career events that are going to talk about the plus sides of DIA, CIA, and I've given you several job descriptions, but what are the downsides? And I'll cover those in depth. So be prepared to ask some questions. Be prepared to have any inputs that you might have, as I don't have all the answers on this. So if you have any experiences, please share them with the group as well. So that's the podcast. I look forward to seeing you today in class. And if there's questions or issues, please bring them up in class.